Dr. Love, you're live.
Hello, and welcome to the Dr. Love Show. I'm Gabby Love, an international love coach and matchmaker based here in New York City. This show came upon when my investor mentors told me it was time to start branding the Dr. Love brand. I'm currently working towards my PhD, and my dissertation is in marital satisfaction and personality type. After 13 episodes, we will be pitched to television. I thank you all for joining us tonight, and my producer Kooge for being a part of this adventure. Tonight's topic I'm calling the eye of beauty. The eye of beauty is our most beautiful selves we bring into our love lives. Elisabeth Kubler-Ross once said, people are like stained glass windows. They sparkle and shine when the sun is out. But when the darkness sets in, their true beauty is revealed only if there is true light from within. To assist me in dissecting the eye of beauty tonight, I brought in my wonderful business colleague, Robert Lee Camp, who I saw after 7 years ago from my boat in the tropics. Let me explain. 7 years ago, I was able to enjoy a mini retirement and live on a boat in the tropics. It was awesome. I had some time on my hands, and I found myself very interested in fun astrology reports. I found Robert's Seven Thunders website, and I bought myself and my friends their destiny reports. At the time, I was also dating a lot, and I invested a lot in love reports as well. My friends, clients, and myself were amazed at the report's wisdom, knowledge, and valuable information for all our lives as individuals as well as partnered in our love lives. I went after Robert and became his student to learn this philosophy. Now I have a website called Love and Destiny Reports that sells these reports as well. Reports are also available for business, for friends, and for family for $24.95 and offering a world of valuable information. Tonight, I'm honored to have Robert on the show as one of my guests. I found our destiny reports help us pinpoint our most beautiful selves from within and teach us how to carry it out into our outer world. I've also invited the gorgeous Marilyn Ordonez to join in on the Eye of Beauty. And of course, let's welcome my awesome producer, Kooge, also known as Kooge, who's an empowerment educator based in Orlando, Florida. So Robert, let me ask you, please tell us how your books can help us know ourselves more and show only our most beautiful eyes to the world.
Okay. Well, there's a description of every birthday in the year in my book, kind of like the birthday book that most people are familiar with. But it's based on an old system where every birthday is a card in the deck. And it helps people, a lot of my customers say it really helped them to accept who they were and stop fighting with their basic nature in their life. Because a lot of times our basic nature of each person, their parents don't think it's good or somebody doesn't think it's good and there's a little bit of a conflict going on. So it helps people to like just accept themselves and say, hey, this is me, it's okay to be who I am. So that's a big part of it. And the second part of it is that people can understand their relationship to other people. They can understand the dynamics of their relationship. The book tells you how to do an in-depth reading, which your reports are illustrations of, that tell them really what's going on in that relationship. Like things like who's like the leader of the relationship, who's like the boss, and who is, will it be financially successful, for example? Will there be a lot of compatibility, or will there be a lot of conflict? You can tell even before you get together with somebody what it's going to be like with those reports.
I have certainly seen that for myself, so I love the information.
Yes.
I also want you to tell us how the love reports can help us with our love lives.
Well, you know, once you get used to the system a little bit, get familiar with it a little bit, you can get to the point where when you meet somebody for the first time, And you don't even have to meet them in person. You can just get their birthday. You're going to know everything about them. You can know what kind of person they are. You can know basically if they're kind of looking for the same things you are in life, and if there's compatibility there. Do the two of you actually fit together well, or is there going to be some conflict or disharmony between you? You can know that. And you can know also who likes to be committed and who doesn't. A lot of birthdays really aren't good at commitment, and other ones are. And you can know this right up front before they even say a word. I think that's a pretty good thing.
Yes, I have seen that be of total value to my business and to my clients as well. If I didn't hear so much from them that they confirm what they read in the reports, I wouldn't feel so strongly about it.
Like when I first met you, Gabby, I discovered that you're a 8 of hearts and a 10 of clubs. You know, I said, now this is a powerful woman, you know, a force to be reckoned with. And you know, you have so much personal charisma and power. And that's what the 8 of hearts is all about. It's like power in love, power in emotions, power in feeling, and that's what you represent. And then that 10 of clubs is the party that just can't stop learning, can't stop studying, can't get enough degrees. So it's great. And then you also get that 10 of clubs thing where you can't sleep at night because you can't stop that brain of yours from going around.
I understand why I'm such a night person. I get it. I don't fight it anymore.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So, Kooge, let me ask you, sir. In this philosophy, you are a double king of clubs. And I have to just do a little side note on that one of my favorite clients named Kiki. And Kiki, I hope you're watching tonight. She's a double king of clubs as well. And I've dealt with this in her love life that, you know, the double king of any of the cards are going to be very powerful people. And it can really hurt us women with that much power going on into a relationship when it's exercised inappropriately. So I have some interesting questions for you, Kooge. In this philosophy, what it says is that all kings are very powerful and have reached a fourth right and a hiatus in their particular evolution, and that depends in the card realm that you're born into. For example, the hearts in this lifetime are all about heart matters. The clubs are all about knowledge and information. The diamonds are all about wealth and stability. And the spades are the wisest, and they're here for work and work ethics. So be it that you are double king of clubs, is it difficult to deal with women who attempt to exert too much power in their love lives with you?
Well, first of all, let me thank Robert for developing this system. I was amazed when I read my report. I mean, it was like he knew who I was. And yes, I do have a regal way of interacting with the world. You know, I've been a CEO of you know, several corporations, and I sort of look at relationships that way as well. But there is a responsibility that goes along with the power relationship, and that is just because you're the CEO doesn't mean you get to do everything your way, and not if you're smart, especially.
Yeah, not if you're a good CEO. Yeah.
Right, and not if you're a smart CEO.
Exactly.
I've done a lot of counseling with people that a lot of times the guy will say, well, my wife or my girlfriend says that I'm always right. And then I'll say to them, well, do you realize that that's not what they're saying? Because their response is, yeah, and what's the problem with that? Well, the problem is you don't really believe you're always right. The responsibility that comes with being this double king and with the clubs of knowledge, is you have to really listen. The temptation when you put an emphasis, as I do, on knowledge and wisdom, is thinking that you have all of it. But one of the things, the longer I live, I realize is that there is always more knowledge and wisdom outside of you than inside of you. And just because somebody else may not have your vocabulary or your background, or approach a decision in the logical and scientific way that I approach it, does not mean they're not right. Because there is intuitive thinking, and sometimes that's right. So listening is a form of intelligence. But in terms of being young, yes, I started out with the position that the most intelligent person in the room should win every argument, and that was me.
He might be living the highest end of his karma.
Let's all bow down to the king.
Well, I do have another question. You know, I have a program called the Alpha Love Program, and that is geared for men to stay in their power, alpha love, and throughout their love lives and in business. There comes a time where a lot of men, I'm not sure about somebody who's a double king of clubs. Robert, you're a queen. You've also reached royalty in this philosophy. So I'm not sure about your particular part per se, but a lot of men at some point in this lifetime will lose their power to a woman in their life at some point. And from that is why I created the Alpha Love Program, is for any man so they never do that, because I feel it does affect relationships negatively. The masculine energy of the relationship should always stay in some sort of spearheading, leading position or energy of the relationship. And what I find is that most women feel better if they take the feminine role in their relationship. Now, the women that choose to be the masculine energy of the relationship, that's fine, but then they need to be with a partner that chooses to be the feminine energy, because for a relationship to stay really glued together, there must be polarity. And you can't have two negatives and you can't have two positives. So in love, I feel what works best is a negative charge and a positive charge. That's usually the difference. It doesn't matter if it's two men.
And that's the sun moon. That's the sun moon in the card, the sun moon connection, you know. Yeah.
So same, yeah. So in this philosophy, it's described by the sun and moon. Yes, okay, absolutely. So, Kooge, what would you say is the most beautiful self that a true alpha male should bring into his relationship?
For me, and I think for most males it would be true as well, it is the listening part. And it's the part that really is required if you are an alpha male. They've done a number of studies of major corporations, and one of the things that they found in terms of the top performing corporation is a book called Good to Great, and they bring this out. One of the best executives in the world, they find, have a trait called humility. Now, a lot of the second-rate managers are the people that know it all, and they're called organizations with 1,000 hands, which means that they basically want to give orders all day and get people to do what they want to do. But to truly reach, the research says that for a organization to truly reach its potential, which is through empowering other people, you have to have humility. And I think the same is true in a relationship between people. If you choose to be the captain of the ship, that's fine. But if you choose to be the captain of the ship where you just give all the orders and you're not listening and you're not learning, the ship is not going to go as high or as far. So I think and also I think a relationship, in terms of the ultimate theme about beauty, is it is healthy to look as a relationship as not the place that you go to fight, but as the oasis that you go to heal. And to do that, you have to decide, not at the time of a storm, but before there is a storm, that this is going to be a healing place and a place that you nourish your relationship. And that means not only a safe place, but a beautiful place. If you try to fix a relationship in the middle of a storm, well, of course, they would need you, Dr. Love, or some professional, because you spend too much time fighting with each other than dealing with whatever the storm is: financial problems, sexual problems, health issues, or whatever. You sort of have to decide in ahead of time how you're going to resolve conflict.
Sure. Sure. Well, thank you. Let's move over to Miss Marilyn. I'm excited to have you on tonight, Marilyn. I met Marilyn at a VIP event for one of my women's groups, and I just fell in love with her. She was dressed to the T and just professional and gorgeous, and she's my femme. As you all know, I categorize the women in femme and the men in men to keep it fun and hipper for my matchmaking clients. And I love it when I meet what I call a fierce femme, and that's what I felt when I met you, Marilyn. And then we started speaking, and she has such a wonderful, real story that I wanted to share. And you once lived your life as a lesbian, and you dated only women until you met your current partner, who is a man, and you gave him a family and 2 gorgeous daughters, and you are now in a committed, heterosexual, lifelong relationship. Very beautiful. I love real stories such as Marilyn's. And, of course, Robert and I then had to run your destiny report. And what we found is that you are a 5 of diamonds. And all 5s, and I've seen this in my work for the last 7 years, and Robert for many, many more years than that with all his clients, the 5s are the kings and the queens of freedom. They travel the best. Those are your people that can take off to Bermuda, they can go to Europe, they can go to South Africa and be back at work 2 weeks later and be totally fine and recollected. And we all know that. They love freedom. You cannot try to put a 5 in any kind of box, square, dot, anything. They will revolt. So in regards to your love life, and what I thought that this lucky man in your life who really stole your attention from a lot of ladies and just really stole your heart is the way I look at it. I feel like he must have offered you a lot of freedom in your life, and maybe in other ways that you can elaborate for us. But he really earned your love and monogamy now for more than 7 years, and I think that's fascinating. What else would you say has he offered you that represent the most beautiful parts of himself that have earned him your monogamy for 7 years?
Oh, that's a great question. I think for me, he is incredibly devoted, and I didn't know this was important to me until I began our relationship together. But he's incredibly devoted to me, to my needs for freedom and escape. He's committed to his kids, his job, even his softball team. Whatever he's doing, he's completely devoted. He lives in the present, and he's not a man of many words, but more of like he speaks through his actions, really. So I think that's what's so beautiful about him, is that he doesn't ask for recognition for what he does. If he gets up early to make the kids breakfast or to do something for me, he's not asking for recognition. He does it because he's devoted. So I think that's a really beautiful quality.
I love that. Just shows me how really in your femme power you are. Because what I have found working with so many women the last few years is, and men, take notes, please. I just spoke at my Trump Towers event on Friday, and I generically let out women want love, men want freedom. It's much more deep than that. What women really want is attention and devotion, like Marilyn just said. And so this makes sense to me. This man, you said, he is so devoted to you, first and foremost, and of course any extension of you, which is now your children. That, fellas, will grab and keep our attention longer than anything when it comes in a healthy, real, authentic manner. Is the love that you read generically in books that women need and the freedom that men need. I truly believe what the accurate word is attention and devotion. So
Right.
thank you for sharing that. That's beautiful. And that literally puts you in this energy that has kept you so committed to him and so in love with him. And I think that is such a beautiful story. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
We ran your love report with Sean too, and it was awesome because you do have this moon connection that Robert believes is the most important, or you can reframe it better, Robert, for longevity. When my clients run their love report with their significant other, that's what they're always going, Gabby, is the moon connection there? Is the moon connection there? I learned to see that. I love the Venus connection, Robert, if you can tell me.
Yeah, it's great too. What's your husband's birthday, Marilyn?
I like the sex one too, the Mars. I'm all about the Mars. It's about the
Got to have a little Mars in there, you know, for the fun part.
I'd say that's probably my favorite too.
Mars is where you get the passion and the drive to do stuff together, you know.
Right.
So what's his birthday, Marilyn?
He is March 3rd, 1970.
March 3rd. So I think is that a 7 of spades, I think?
He's an 8 of hearts like I am, and a 7.
Oh, okay. You're 7 of spades, 8 of hearts. Okay.
Marilyn.
That's it. Okay. Yeah, so he's got that power too. I mean, that's like the Playboy card, the 8 of hearts, you know. So he must have just bowled you over with affection and love, you know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I keep them quite addicted to me as well. I get it now.
So
my
yeah, the moon connection is found in most successful marriages. About 90%, they always have moon connections.
Oh, interesting. That's so.
It makes you feel really close. Like it's two cards right next to each other, and so one is the sun and one is the moon, and so the moon follows the sun. You see, and usually the moon is better if it's the woman because it's traditional for the man to lead and the woman to support and to be like that. But it goes both ways. It can happen either way, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you guys have these amazing connections that Robert has taught me that do well in relationships. So it was interesting to see that you and Sean definitely have that. It was awesome. So what I wanted to ask is what every guy who's watching this wants to ask a woman of your stature and your history. Do you see yourself ever being able to love a woman again?
Honestly, my entire life, or at least my adult life, I was, like you said, I was identified as a lesbian really until I met Sean. And so part of your question is almost implying like if I would cheat on Sean, but I wouldn't cheat on him whether a man or a woman, honestly. So the answer would be no to that. I don't think I could ever fall in love with a woman or a man because I feel so complete with Sean, and because our relationship is so strong that that the gender doesn't even come into the picture. You know what I mean?
I love that. That's so beautiful. That's truly amazing and awesome. And
yeah.
Too. I mean, it's a beautiful union. What I'm hearing, I love it.
Yeah, I'm very lucky. I'm very blessed.
Okay, Gabby, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Now you mentioned that when Robert ran your chart, that you were an 8 of hearts and a 10 of clubs woman. Do you feel that you've been living out the high end of your karma in this lifetime?
Okay, this question stems from what Robert has taught me, that all of our birth cards, most of us are 2 birth cards. Some of us are double 1 card like you, Kooge, double king. And some people are 3 cards. And all cards have a high end and a low end. For example, my favorite example of that is the Jack of Spades, which is Winona Ryder. Many of you know Winona Ryder. She was an Oscar winner. She dated Johnny Depp for many years. And you guys remember that year where she got busted for stealing in a Barney's in Beverly Hills. She had just won an Oscar that year. Winona Ryder has no business stealing in Barney's, in any city in the world. But what I learned is that she's a Jack of Spades, and a lot of Jack of Spades are in jail in this lifetime because the low end of their karma is to master their inherent nature to want to steal. It's such an extreme example that it stood out for me once I ran Winona Ryder's cards and saw that she is a Jack of Spades. Most of the ones that don't master that karma, they end up in jail. She only didn't end up in jail because of her money and all of that, and hopefully now we haven't seen any more stories of her. So what the cards would say is that she's now mastering the high end of her card. That being said, I do feel I am living the high end of my karma in this lifetime. Now, it didn't come until just a few years ago. The 8 of Hearts, when I'm living out the high end of my card, what it means is that I'm here to master my love life, and I'm here to heal my own heart by helping others. And because I call myself Gabby Love, and I've studied marriage and family counseling, I'm still working towards my doctorate in research for marital satisfaction, I feel like I am living the high end of my card. Now, when I was younger, I had to master my power in love and make sure that it didn't get out of control. And I do feel like that didn't really happen until my 30s. But I feel like more and more each year, the older I get, that yes, I am starting to master the higher end of my karma. And for the 10 of clubs in me, it's helped me understand my extreme independent nature. Only this year have I really found the value of being married. I've never really understood the value of having somebody else around 24/7. It didn't make any sense to me, guys, until this last couple years that I've been working with beautiful and fantastic, evolved people that I feel can have an amazing unit under one roof. One amazing unit and another amazing unit equals 2, and then it multiplies in energy. And I finally found a theoretical reason so far as to why I would want to get married. And I believe that the reason I never understood that is because I am a 10, 1 and 0 really equals 1. We are the most independent next to the aces that are, Robert is an ace, and you know the aces are 1. So the 1s and the 10s are going to be your most independent people. So if I work with somebody and they're dating somebody else who's a 1 and 10, I teach them that. They're dealing with somebody who's extremely independent and is probably going to need a lot of alone time intermittently, if not pretty regularly.
The ace is alone. It's the 1, right?
Right.
So they need time by themselves. So
I feel I do well dating 10s and aces because we understand each other's needs for reclusivity, really, is what it is for me.
You know, Yabby, I see you doing the high part of your card too, because the 8 of Hearts is power that can be used for positive or negative, and you're using it to heal people. And because you're this 10 of clubs, it can't just be one-on-one. Like a lot of 8 of Hearts people are counselors. They're really great counselors. They can sit down with somebody one-on-one, and they can actually, you know, shine their love light on them, and it can help that person to come out of like some sense of self-rejection or something. So you have that, but you have this 10 of clubs that wants to take it to a much bigger level. You know, it's just the 10 of clubs. It sits at the very top of the whole deck. It never could want to do something small. It has to be like not one person, like 1,000 people, right? So to me, it looks like perfect for you what you're doing.
Thank you. I am slightly eccentric and over the top. I would say a lot of people would label me as that.
Yes, well, you know, you got that 10 of clubs. It just that mind of yours just never stops. It just keeps on going.
Yeah, it's a great quality to have. I've been called over the top many a time, so it's certainly a good quality for sure. It's the fun factor.
It does.
Yes.
It works for femmes. You know, it
Yes.
does. It's exciting for the men. You know, let's go over the top, right? No
Right.
man wants a really boring girl. No, some do.
Right.
But overall, I'd say the more exciting a woman is, the more exciting she makes it for her man.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Robert, I have a question for you as really the expert on this particular personality model system and astrological system that you've come up with. One of the things that I found in empowerment training is without understanding personality models, what people tend to do is have really a diametric model, which is I'm okay and you're not. By explaining, as you do, the fact that people can be different and not you, gives you the ability to not have to turn somebody into you in order for the relationship to be a success, whether it is your children, whether it is your lover, whether it is your employees. Have you found that to be the case?
You mean by using the system, or what?
By not having the system, if they don't have a system that will allow them to accept the polarity of somebody being different but okay.
Well, I've gotten a lot of. It's actually helped me personally a lot, just to realize that there's 52 different patterns of expression, and neither one of them is right or wrong. You know, no pattern is wrong or bad, and we need all these patterns. We need everybody. You know, we need everybody doing what they love to do most, and then everything flows better. You know, but you know, it is true that when you put people together in a work environment, that some people will not get along, and if you understood the system a little more, you would know how to place people in relationships in their work that were productive and positive, instead of just grinding against each other. Some people are just not going to get along. It's not personal. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's just the fact of the way their energies blend together. See, so I've actually worked for corporations and helped them rearrange people in their upper hierarchy of people so that there was a flow instead of conflict. Like for example, let's say you had an assistant, as a quick example. You hire somebody as assistant, and you're immune to them, so they think you should follow their lead. Instead of you telling them what to do, they think you should do what they say, and you're hiring them to be your assistant. That's just a short example of that. But it goes into much greater detail also. There's a lot more things to be considered. So it's very useful, and you can use it to take advantage of each person's strengths and minimize their weaknesses, and then put them together with compatible people so that you have a lot more harmony at the workplace.
Yeah, it has truly assisted my psychologist work. Absolutely, it feeds the same information that science feeds into, like Myers-Briggs, how we have to personality type people into an ENFP or an INFJ. The cards, what they do for my work is just feed me another piece of information about any individual. And then if that individual chooses to become a unit, like Marilyn and Sean, that her energy and his energy, they become a whole nother energy together, intertwined as one. And so it really has helped my business and my work, and it inspired my doctoral dissertation, Robert. So I really thank you.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
Robert's website is 7thunders.com, and that's the number 7 and the word thunders.com. And he has a world of information and tons of fun articles on celebrities and their cards, and why some of them stray and why some of them don't, and why, you know, and Brad Pitt. I even have Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie's wedding love cards on my site, and it's just a lot of very fun, interesting information that doesn't cancel out any of my psychologist information. That's what's interesting.
Well, if it's really based on truth, if any system is based on truth, it should give you consistent information. It should be accurate, and it should blend with anything else that's also accurate. You know?
Yeah, and I feel like it certainly does. Robert also has written lots of books that can teach somebody to learn how to decipher the information. That's also on his website. He has lots of classes. And on my site, which is loveanddestinyreports.com, the Love Reports and the Destiny Reports are available there for $24.95. And I thank you so much, because you've accentuated my work in a way that I'm very, very grateful.
You're a wonderful, what's the word I'm looking for, person to present this to the world, and you're doing a fantastic job, and you're making it available to people, and you're bringing it out, and you're promoting it in the most positive light, and it's just beautiful. I support you in doing this.
Thank you. I really believe in it. It has really helped my work. It's helped my clients so much, helped explain past relationships. I have women that come on board all the time, and I'll do their love report with them and an ex that they still have a heartache with, and it helps them understand what some of the conflict was. And, you know, and I have to just present it to them in that way, that karmically there was a lot that wasn't in your control necessarily there, energetically. Kind of like, we all know when we're with somebody and we feel more feminine, and when we're with somebody and we feel more masculine, right? We can't control that. That's innate. It's carnal.
Yeah, usually every relation, the ones that have the moon connection, generally one person is the dominant one, and that is the masculine one, you might say also. It's the sun, right? Sun is the symbol of masculinity, while the moon is the symbol of femininity. So the moon person, it could be the man or the woman, or it could be the woman and the woman, or the man and the man. If there's a sun-moon connection, there's somebody there that's playing the feminine role and one that's playing the masculine role. And that has to coincide with what their nature is. You know what I'm saying? Because here you are, you're a 10 of clubs, Gabby, which is a very masculine card, okay? So, you know, for you to be moon to a guy it could be detrimental in some cases, because it could detract from your career. You understand?
Yes.
Because when you're moon to somebody, you have to follow them.
I get too relaxed. I don't like it.
Well, you fall into being the woman and being in this feminine supportive role, and your career goes out the window. It can happen, see? So it's better, really, we always recommend for 10 of clubs women, they should have a man that's moon to them.
I love this.
Like a Queen of Hearts, because they're moon to you. Barbara Streisand is married to a Queen of Hearts. I mean, if a 10 of clubs woman is happy, she's usually with the Queen of Hearts.
Barbara Streisand and Madonna are 10 of clubs women. I can resonate with them.
Yes, exactly. And Sean Penn is a 9 of clubs, and he was moon to Madonna, and he didn't like being the woman in the relationship, you know? It just didn't work for him. He had to get out of there. Otherwise, it might, because they still consider each other the love of their lives, but it just wouldn't work, because Sean Penn's very masculine. He's not going to, like, you know, play the feminine role and start carrying the luggage and the kids and everything. Like Brad Pitt does with Angelina Jolie. He's playing the feminine role in that relationship, and that's why in all their pictures together, he's falling behind with the kids. He's got them in his arms, you know. So that moon connection, we consider the most important. It defines the relationship more than anything else.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being with us tonight.
Oh, I loved it.
And thank you so much for sharing your story so freely with so many of us. And Sean is definitely a lucky man. And your daughters are absolutely so amazing. Lucky. Yeah. I heard Marilyn talk about the birthday party she was throwing one of her little girls just last week, and it just sounded amazing. You were having so much fun with that. So congratulations.
Thank you. No, thank you so much for making me part of the show, for sure. Thank you.
It's great to have you.
Thank you for joining us. And Kooge, as always, thank you so much. for being KK. And Robert said you're a double king of clubs, and your initials happen to be KK.
That's amazing.
Thank you so much, and love always.
Well, thank you for inviting us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we are out.